Hello everybody, this is going to be the first video uploaded to the National Pokemon Draft League channel. We're going to be starting the 4th season. This time we're using a website as opposed to a Google Sheet, which is nice. It has some quirks and some bonus stuff. It's hosted by Automatic. You should probably check the website out and him. They're both pretty great. And I'm the main guy going to be running the channel. I'm not the person running the league, but I will be the main guy running the channel. I am Nutcheck of the Jacksonville Jangmos, and I'm going to be analyzing this season's draft. So I guess we might as well start in draft order. We're going to start with the Chicago Beartics. So they have a pretty sizable lineup. They have some pretty good bulk with Mega Slowbro, and of course Pyukumuku. Pyukumuku is actually surprisingly useful in bulk with Unaware. It can actually shut down both physical and special sweepers, as long as they don't have Magic Guard, of course. You got Hawlucha and Bulu. Hawlucha works very well in terrain, so you got Bulu to set up the terrain. You have Hawlucha use Grassy Signal. It's pretty nice. Yeah, and they got Heatran. Obviously, they're probably going to be running Z on that a lot. Maybe not. See running leftovers on that. Of course, Mew is very versatile. And then Drifblim. It's Drifblim. Alright, on to Regional Bird. Regional Bird has Superior, Volcanion, Cloyster, Linoon, Durant, Malamar, Mega Diancie, Mudsdale, Haxorus, Blissey, and Meloetta. Quite a bit of bulk on the team. Superior can be used surprisingly defensively with double screens, though I doubt they'll be using it for that. They'll probably mainly be using it for contrary boosts. Of course, Malamar, pretty solid contrary sweeper as well, if you can get it going. It's pretty good walls, like Mudsdale, pretty solid defensive wall that I've used myself in past seasons. Blissey, a pretty solid special defensive wall. Of course, they've got some sweepers like Haxorus and Linoon to use Belly Drum, and they have Shell Smash, probably Shell Smash Cloyster. You can run a bunch of stuff, but I mainly see Shell Smash. I've run Cloyster myself last season. I mainly ran Shell Smash. And Volcanion is pretty useful. It's bulky and it's got some offensive quirks as well. So I look forward to see how they do this year. Next, we have Tennessee Titanoboa. They got Coco, Lucario, Pelipper, Shaman, Weezing, Armaldo, Swampert, Mega Swampert, Jirachi, Goodra, Alolan Raikou, and Spiritomb. Now you can tell they're going for a rain team because they have, of course, Pelipper and Swampert and Goodra. You know, Goodra is pretty good, provides pretty good bulk, and in the rain, it can heal itself, or it can heal its status conditions. Of course, Swampert is an extremely powerful rain sweeper. And of course, Pelipper is there to set the rain, and no rain team is complete without Coco. Coco being really fast and can Volt Switch and U-turn out of situations perfectly. Well, not really perfectly, but it can get out of situations like that with its pretty neat ability to outspeed a lot of things. And then he has Jirachi with the Serene Grace flinch stuff, which I'm not a fan of because, of course, I don't like RNG City. It's not really my type of town. And then we're on to the Georgia Garchomps. They got Black Kyurem, Entei, Crobat, Gigalith, Araquanid, Mesprit, Mega Manectric, Bisharp, Registeel, Silvally, and Delmise. I really don't know what they're going to go with here. It kind of seems like a really weird combination. Of course, they do have kind of a fire-water grass with Entei, Araquanid, and Delmise. Araquanid is surprisingly bulky at times. It can set up webs reliably. And of course, Kyurem Black is a very solid offensive mon and can provide quite a bit of coverage with like Bolt Strike and Ice Beam and Freeze Shock, and it can even like run Iron Head and all that. It's pretty cool. You have Gigalith. You could set up Sandstorms if you want, though I doubt you'll be setting them up. I bet you could run like Sturdy. You could probably take out like a sweeper trying to sweep with a Sturdy. Gigalith is can be surprisingly bulky. Of course, you have Reggie Steel, that can be a surprisingly bulky mon as well. You got Silvally, you can easily like get out of situations with Parting Shot. It's always nice. And Delmise is kind of bulky. Onto the Thought-Slaying Typhlosions. You got Garchomp, Suicune, Lycanroc Dusk, Gardevoir, Frostlass, Alolan Golem, Mega Aggron, Infernape, Buzzwole, Decidueye, and Pikachu. I didn't know they drafted Pikachu. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, this Garchomp, you could use like a Scarf set. It's pretty nice. Garchomp is a very solid offensive mon, and no surprise why they took it. Suicune is a very solid, bulky water, and was one I was trying to get in this draft, but I ended up getting sniped by this person, but oh well. It's a very solid defensive water type, and I'm not mad they took it because they got a pretty solid Pokemon. And they got a Mega Aggron, personally my favorite Mega from using here over these past couple of seasons. Very solid defensive mon with a lot of offensive capability. Very defensive, especially with its pure steel typing and its filter ability. And we got Infernape, of course, a very solid offensive mon. You can run mixed sets, special sets, physical sets, the whole 9 yards. Run Buzzwole, it's got some bulk and a lot of strength. You can run like Scarf sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I've never really run Buzzwole, so I don't know that much about it. And you got Pikachu. The only thing you're going to be seeing this game, the only item you're going to see on this is Light Ball, or Light Ball, and that's all. Yeah. Of course, a lot of people meme with their tier 5 picks. I did too. On to Washington Alakazams. Got Dragonite, Window Eye, with Sand Force. That's important. Vaporeon, Alolan Muck, Rabombi, Piloswine, Mega Medicham, Ferrothorn, Zeraora, Salazzle, and Cofagrigus. Dragonite is very solid, kind of bulky sweeper, especially with that multi-scale. You can run like some pretty solid Dragon Dance sets. I had it last season. It was pretty solid and did a lot of work for me. Landorus Eye, I've never really seen in this at all. I'm assuming it would run more like a sweeper set. It provides some bulk, I'd assume. And then there's Vaporeon, one of those bulky water types, very solid, and Alolan Muck. That can provide some stuff like Shadow Sneak, and it's pretty bulky. It can be run very offensive as well. And there's Rabombi that can set up webs, and it can put Pokemon to sleep, and it can also sweep with Quiver Dance. Pretty nice. Piloswine, you can run with Eviolite. You can run Ice Shard as well. Have some offensive quirks, but it's mainly used for defensive stuff. Mega Medicham, of course, a very solid physical sweeper. You run Fake Out. You can run Ice Punch to stop Landorus in its tracks. Of course, if it's not running Scarf. Very solid Pokemon. Ferrothorn, of course, what everyone thinks of when they think of bulky and annoying. Well, that's because everyone hates facing one. But Ferrothorn is very solid. It can paralyze things. It can poison things. You can set up rocks. You can hit things reasonably easily, or hit hard. I'm not really good with words, which is why I probably shouldn't be in charge of this. I know what I'm talking about, kinda. I just don't know how to explain things very well. Then there's Zeraora, really fast and very solid. I guess it can be more special as well. Very solid sweeper. And there's Salazzle, once again, kind of a solid sweeper. Of course, that 4 times weakness to ground really gets Salazzle a lot. And then there's Cofagrigus. Bulky, provides some utility, with you run like Curse, you can run like Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, the whole 9 yards. Under the Houston Haxorus, we had Tornadus T, Mamoswine, Incineroar, Cobalion, Gastrodon, Sandslash, Mega Tyranitar, Thundurus T, I almost said Sylveon, Roserade, and Duosion for some reason. I guess that a lot of people mean with their tier 4 picks. I guess it could be really bulky and kind of useful. Tornadus T is there. You could use like U-turn to provide some momentum. You can defog things away, and Regenerator is pretty solid. It can be pretty bulky, and sometimes you can run the trump card Flying EMZ as a joke, so I guess you can run it. I don't see it. I think it is kind of viable. And then Mammal Swine, bulky and very strong. Hits like a truck because it looks like one, and it is one. Very solid offensive mon. Got Incineroar, it can use Fake Out and Intimidate stuff. It can really shut down physical attackers. And Obelian, very solid defensive Pokemon with its Steel typing, and it's pretty good typing. It can stop anything, almost. Gastrodon, very solid defensive mon again, and the only problem with it is weakness to grass, but again, very bulky and can toxic things and switch into things pretty easily because of its bulk. And there's Sandslash. It's Sandslash. It can do earthquake things because it's a ground type. And then there's Mega Tyranitar. Very slow, but very powerful. It's like one of the slowest Dragon Dance sweepers, but once you can get it going, it can get going. But most people use it for like walling, sitting up rocks and stuff, and sand. It's pretty solid. Very solid offensive mon as well. Thundurus T, very solid Pokemon. I've used this like some of the past few seasons. Thundurus T is one of my personal favorite electric types. Very solid, fast, special attacking Pokemon. I guess you can kind of run physical as well if you want. You can run Volt Switch on it to like phase out. I've run Scarf on it before, and you can also run like Electrium Z on it. It's pretty solid overall. It's gotten a lot of kills for me. And there's Sylveon, of course, the special sweeper. Really just slap a specs on it, and then it use its ability to power up its screaming moves. So it just screams at people and Pokemon, and it does a lot of damage. Very solid special attack sweeper. There's Roserade. You can set up spikes and toxic spikes. I don't know if it gets spikes. Toxic spikes with it, and put things to sleep as well, so nothing gets in the way of setting up your spikes or toxic spikes. I don't even remember if it gets spikes. And there's my team. I got Hoopa Unbound, Primarina, Chestnut, Aerodactyl, Explode, Swoobat, Mega Scizor, Raikou, Blacephalon, Rhyperior, and Vanilluxe. A lot of these people didn't. Quite a few of us didn't actually draft all these. Then we just drafted some and changed our mind. Something weird happened. I had Braylon as a backup to this, and for some reason just put it in as this instead. So someone else just picked Raikou, so I just traded, and they kind of wanted Braylon, so I just traded it. But yeah, it's fine, whatever. I have Raikou now. I also traded Diancie for Rhyperior because I needed a ground type, and they probably needed that Diancie more than I did. And so with Hoopa's pretty solid. I see run Band on it a lot. You can run Z on it. Sometimes I've even seen Scarf on it. I don't know if anyone actually runs Scarf. Maybe I should actually try one of the games this season and see how it works. It has a pretty surprisingly wide move pool. It gets moves like Gunk Shot, so it can shut down fairies pretty easily. So fairies aren't totally safe when switching into this. And there's Primarina. Again, solid, bulky water type. Which is what I got after knocking at Suicune. I wasn't really mad about it because Primarina is still pretty solid, and with the extra fairy typing, that could help with coverage as well. Chestnut, pretty bulky for a grass type, and it's really solid and it helps complete the fire, water, grass core that I kind of created later on in the draft. And there's Aerodactyl, fast, very prone to getting destroyed by priority, and pretty solid overall. I'd say you could run like Pursuit on this. You could run some pretty good sets with this. I want to try it out. I've only run Mega Aerodactyl before. I want to see how more versatile I can get with regular Aerodactyl. And Exploud, I've had it every single season so far. I know what it is. You just slap a choice specs on it and you spam Boom Burst. That's all it is to Exploud. And I kind of like it that way. Swoobat, not really kind of a meme pick. I picked it because it's actually surprisingly fast for the tier it's in, and with its simple ability, it can actually set up rather quickly, and with its speed, it can actually outspeed a lot of things. So it's something I'm looking forward to using and trying out. Mega Scizor, it's not really, well, of course it's bulky because it's a steel type. You can run like Bullet Punch, Curse Set, you can run like Defog to get rid of rocks. Surprisingly versatile Pokemon. Of course you could U-turn to, get some momentum, switch out. And Raikou, of course, wouldn't be me if I didn't have an electric type. Or wouldn't be anyone if they didn't have an electric type. I think everyone has one, but Raikou is fast and has a little bit of bulk to it, and very solid overall. I'd say probably run like Life Orb, maybe Specs, Z on it, And then there's Blacephalon. You can just slap a Specs or Scarf on it, and it'll probably just sweep stuff because it's Blacephalon. Rhyperior, bulky, but very solid, and it has a ability just like Mega Aggron, weakens super effective moves. In fact, the two abilities are identical, just with different names, because I guess it wouldn't make sense for Mega Aggron, which a pure steel type, to have solid rock, I guess, but it's very strong offensively, and I can't wait to use it. And then there's Vanilluxe. I drafted it because, you know what, why not? Let's have an ice type. I don't know if I'll actually use it, but I think it'll be nice to have Vanilluxe, because ice cream tastes pretty good. I should probably get more serious with this. On to the Manitoba Mammal Swines. They have Skarmory, Volcarona, Snorlax, Metagross, Hariyama, Walrein, Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, Chansey, Amoonguss, Venusaur, and Ampharos. I like the bulk going on here. Of course, you have a lot of bulk here with Skarmory, Snorlax, Metagross, Hariyama, Walrein, Chansey, Amoonguss, Venusaur. Very solid bulky mons. And of course, you have the sweepers like Volcarona. You set up a Quiver Dance, and then nobody can stop you. And there's Snorlax. You run like a Curse Set with that, and bring you back to the good old gold and silver days. Or you could run like other things on it, like Belly Drum if you really want to. Same with Hariyama, you can run like Belly Drum on it if you want. Walrein, probably, I've never really seen Walrein in competitive play, but it's a bulky water type, and I assume you'd run like leftovers and stuff on it. I'm very curious to see what it'll do this season. Of course, you got Chansey, slap an Eviolite on it, and then watch it wall special attackers to no end. And there's Mega Gardevoir, kind of jumping around here. Very solid special attacker. I had it season 1 for a bit, I believe, but I ditched it for Mega Aerodactyl, but I liked it. I just couldn't get it to work in this league. Amoonguss, very solid bulky grass type. With Regenerator, it's very solid, and you can put things to sleep, and it's very solid overall. Venusaur, same exact typing as Amoonguss, but Amoonguss outclasses it in a lot of ways, but I'd say Venusaur is more offensively focused as opposed to Amoonguss, though Venusaur is still rather bulky. And then there's Ampharos. Ampharos is quite slow, but it could be pretty solid at times. I've never really seen it be run, of course. I've only seen Mega Ampharos being run. I'm curious to see what it will do this season. And then on to the Pittsburgh Reggie Steelers. They have Manaphy, Mimikyu, Nidoqueen, Arcanine, Diancie, which is what I traded Diancie to them, Togedemaru, Mega Lopunny, Uniqueless, Mandibuzz, Sarina, and Venomoth. Wow, I just realized he was talking some trash about Sarina just a couple seasons earlier in the drafts. So he said it wasn't worth where it was at. I don't remember it being moved at all. It's still in Tier 3, so I guess he saw some value in it. I guess I'm calling him out. That's my bad. I owe you a thumbs up in chat later in the Discord server. So we got Manaphy. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Manaphy is, of course, a water sweeper thing, and of course you can run Tail Glow. One Tail Glow gives you +3 in special attack, and then you could run like a Water Z, and then it'll just destroy something. Or you could run Life Orb if you really want to. I don't know. I don't know that much about Manaphy. I've never really run it. And there's Mimikyu. Of course, you could see like a physical sweeper. Of course, it has that ability that allows it to take a hit. So you could like bring it in. You could set it up with like a sword stance while your opponent breaks your sub. Well, kind of a sub, but it's in disguise. It's disguise. And then you could just spam Shadow Sneak and probably win. Probably not, though. You probably need like 2 more boosts. But you know what? Don't matter. Mimikyu's still a really solid offensive mon, and I respect it for that. And it has the best Z move ever created, Let's Snuggle Forever. Because that sounds nice. On to Nidoqueen. It's pretty much discount Nidoking. That's all there is to say about it. It's just discount Nidoking. There's Arcanine. Surprisingly bulky. It performed solid last season with Cole. I've seen it run like bulky sets. It can run like offensive sets. And of course, it can out-prioritize other Pokemon with extreme speed. Highly versatile. I didn't think it would be that versatile, but it's actually kind of solid. Of course, Diancie. Solid, bulky rock type. Of course, because it's a rock type. I haven't really used it, which I was kind of wanting to use it, but I realized I had no ground type, and I needed to trade out of that. Well, actually, he was the one who approached me about the trade. But, you know. Togedemaru, I've run this in the lower tiers a couple times, not in the league, but I have some. It has a lot of really solid moves, like offensively, like Zing Zap, Iron Head, and makes you wish that they never give this thing Serene Grace, because that'd just be a nightmare. Mega Lopunny. I had this for a brief point in time last season until I ditched it because it did nothing for me. Seems like all these like really overly waifu megas always get ditched by me after like week 4. Not that it matters anyway, but again, fast, very strong, physical, attacker, sweeper. Very good move set. You can even paralyze things with Thunder Wave if it really wanted to, but I don't see why you would since it's pretty fast to begin with. It has Fake Out, you can flinch things on the first turn out. Of course, it gets like all the punches. It's like High Jump, Kick, Return. It's a pretty strong Pokemon. I just couldn't get it to work last season. Mega Aggron just fit way better in my team, I guess. Reuniqueless. Bulky, and it can hit things like a truck with psychic type moves and other moves. I've never really seen it run in competitive play. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, it is bulky. I think I have seen it a couple times. Then there's Mandibuzz, the bulky bird vulture thing, and it's surprisingly bulky. Of course, you can run like Toxic. It gets Roost, so it has some reliable recovery, and Foul Play to shut down physical attackers as well, to use their attack against them. Sarina, I've run this before, notably in Season 1, but I've run like Assault Vest on it all the time, and it can be surprisingly bulky at times. It can run like U-turn to get some momentum with the team. Hit things with Trop Kick to lower its attack. The Seed Bomb and Power Whip hit harder, so I don't see why you need to run Trop Kick. And there's Venomoth, which is discount Volcarona but poison type. But I guess it does have access to powder things, and I guess that doesn't really matter. I don't know. Does it get access to sleep powder? I don't know. Then you're on to Cole. He runs, he's got Thunderous Eye, Forgus, Donphan, Porygon Z, Bronzong, Alone Executor, Mega Blastoise, surprise, Tier 3 Mega taken, Drapion, or Drapion, I don't know how to pronounce it, Conkeldurr, Azelf, or Azelf, I don't know, Talonflame. So Thunderous Eye, I ran that in Season 2, because I wanted to break from Thunderous T, but then I went back to Thunderous T after that season, so it didn't work out that well. Maybe I'll land Thunderous T next season, I don't know, but this is Thunderous Eye. Of course, unlike Thunderous T, this gets Prankster, so you can like set up like, no, I don't think it gets substitute. No, it doesn't. You could get like a Thunder Wave off before a faster opponent can even do anything. Throw out a Toxic. You can taunt them, you know, and it still provides some pretty useful offensive things, just like Thunderous T can. I'm not good at explaining things, but I assure you, I do know what I'm talking about, kinda. You got Florges, a bulky Fairy type. I had this for, I know I had this once at one point during one of the seasons. I don't remember which season, but I know I ran it at one point and it barely did anything for me, but you know, it can heal off status conditions with aromatherapy. Might even get Heal Bell too, I'm not sure, but that really matters. Gets recovery with Synthesis, and it can hit things with Moonblast and other things like that if you really want to. And then there's Donphan. Nice, kind of bulky Mon, and hits pretty hard as well. Set up rocks, Ice Shard for priority, and nice stab Earthquake. Porygon Z has quite a good move pool. It can run like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, you know, all that. Pretty solid for a Tier 3. And there's Bronzong, of course, another trademark bulky Steel type. It can either run Heat Proof, I don't know why you would though, to, you know, weaken Fire type moves, or you could just run Levitate and be completely immune to Ground type, which is more common anyway. Of course, it's access to, I don't know if it gets access to Heal Bell actually, it's Bell, but I think it does. I've never really watched Bronzong all that much. I guess we're just going to move on to Alolan Executor. Yeah, Harvest. Sun and Harvest. As the derpy faces of the long-necked Alolan Executor stare into your soul. Then there's Mega Blastoise, bulky and hits like a truck due to Mega Launcher, powering up a lot of its moves. Drapion, once it gets a Sniper boost, it will be really hard to stop. Drapion is pretty solid offensively and is often overlooked, but I think it's one of my favorite poison types. Conkeldurr, slow, kind of bulky, but hits really hard offensively. Hits like a truck. I love it. I've never used one, but I know I've seen it be used before, and I absolutely love it. And it gets priority like, I think it gets Mach Punch. Mach Punch or Bullet Punch. I'm not sure. I can't remember. And there's Azelf. Of course, the best of the 4 Late Guardian things. I've never seen it run a lot, but I know I've seen it use like Explosion and Stealth Rex. So I guess it can be used to provide some utility. And then there's Talonflame. Thank God. Gale Wings is nerfed, or this would probably be banned. Then says lowly Tier 4. My boy Steph. And Steph brought like, he's got Zygarde 50%, Toxapex, Rotom Eat, Ditto, Druddigan, Laurentiis, Sharpedo, Mega Sharpedo, Kartana, Porygon 2, Nidoking, and Shuckle. Poor Shuckle there, maybe he might pull some weird, contrary Shell Smash antics. I doubt he would though. He's not all about that. He's not about that stall though, so. Of course, you got Rotom. This provides some useful utility. Not as good as Rotom Wash, but still brings the heat. Haha, get it. You got Pex, really solid, bulky water. Of course, with Regenerator, it can just keep switching out and healing. Zygarde 50%, pretty solid sweeper once it gets going. bulky and can hit like a truck once it gets a couple Dragon Dances up. Then we got Ditto. Of course, Ditto is one of the things you have to be careful about because Ditto can be a really big threat. If you have a sweeper out, you got it all set up, and then Ditto decides to come in, scarf Ditto, and ruin your party because it'll be faster than you because it's scarfed, and it'll have all those boosts. Druddigon, I've never really actually seen run. I wish I have because I actually kind of like Druddigon, to be honest, but I'm interested to see what he can do with Druddigon. And we got Laurentiis. You can run Contrary Leaf Storm if you wanted to be weird, or you could just run the standard Contrary Superpower. I'd probably prefer the latter because I'm pretty sure its attack is higher than its special attack. The Leaf Storm is stabs, so who knows. Mega Sharpedo, of course, you can get like a speed boost in regular Sharpedo, and then you can Mega Evolve. Kind of an overlooked Mega. It is a Tier 4, which is probably why, because there are just so many other better Megas, but I still think it's a pretty decent Mega. I'm waiting to see what it does. You got Kartana, the most scummy sweeper in existence. Only when it's scarfed, and only when it's late game. Only. I think it's most useful when, of course it is most useful late game, because then most of its threats are gone, and you can just switch it in, then you can start spamming like Smart Strike or Leaf Blade, and nothing survives. And then Porygon 2, of course you can run Eviolite on that. Well, everyone will be running Eviolite on that. Well, he will anyway, because that's like the only viable item on it. And very bulky, and I haven't really seen a lot of it lately, actually. You mainly see it in doubles, but I don't even think you see it in doubles that much anymore. I'm interested to see how it does. Nidoking, you could run like Scarf or Specs on this, and you could hit like a truck with sheer force and all that, powering up a lot of its moves. You got Shuckle, of course. I already mentioned it. Can be scummy. Cannot be. And we're on to the Minnesota Vikingdras. Got Excadrill, Rotom-Wash, Galvantula, Whimsicott, Delphox, Leafeon, Mega Pinsir, Hydreigon, Gengar, Tentacool, and Magmortar. Alright, I gotta mention that. I actually really like Magmortar, but I have no idea what it does competitively, alright? I've run Assault Vest as a joke before. I don't know if that's viable or not. Maybe you could run like Specs on it or something. Life Orb. Probably not Life Orb. Of course, Tentacool. Very overlooked bulky water type. It can stop like draining moves like Drain Punch and Giga Drain with its Liquid Ooze ability, and you can set up Toxic Spikes. I think, if I remember right. I know it can Rapid Spin Spikes away and Stealth Rocks and all that. You got Gengar, very solid Ghost type. He had it last season, and it did very well for him. It's very solid Ghost type overall, of course. It's surprisingly fast, and you can run like Focus Blast on it. You can run like Fighting MZ to get past that accuracy thing for like one turn, if you want. Then Hydreigon, probably one of my favorite dragons of all time. Very solid special attacker. Has a pretty good move pool. Has like Flamethrower or Fire Blast. I think you'd probably rather run Fire Blast for that extra power. Dark Pulse, of course, and has a lot of solid special attacking moves and hits like a truck. I think I already said that. Mega Pinsir. We haven't seen this in the league since season 1 when Steph had it. Man, that destroyed everything. Mega Pinsir is fast. Of course, it has dropped in popularity in the metagame recently, but it's still very strong. And Aerialate to power up those normal type moves into flying type moves due to its added flying type. It's pretty solid. Leafeon, it sucks. Delphox, I've heard, is pretty solid, and you run like Magician, steal items and stuff like that. It can hit things pretty solid with special moves. I haven't really seen a lot of it, but I'm looking forward to see it this year. Of course, Whimsicott, that's like the trademark prankster Pokemon with Leech Seed, Substitute, you know, the whole scummy 9 yards. Galvantula, set up webs, and it can Volt. I think it gets Volt Switch, right? You run the standard Sash web set. You want Rotom Wash, the best Rotom form, obviously, competitively. Run stuff like Will-O-Wisp to shut down any physical attackers. It's very bulky in itself. It can defog rocks and spikes away. It's pretty useful. Of course, you got Excadrill, who can also rapid spin all those hazards away with like webs and all that. Rapid spin the webs away. I forgot you could defog webs away too. Excadrill, it hits really solid. No, Excadrill hits really hard offensively. With like Iron Head and with that flinch chance and Stab Earthquake. Stab Earthquake's always nice to have. Yeah, I love Excadrill, probably one of my favorite ground types. And the minus plus twins. It's got Zapdos, Gliscor, Empoleon, Espeon. It's too many eons. Alolan Sandslash, Turtonator, Mega Aerodactyl, Breloom, Scolipede, Krookodile, and Comfey. I guess we'll start with Zapdos. I actually wasn't originally going to get Raikou. I was trying to get Zapdos, but that got sniped for me. And we got Gliscor, very solid bulky mon. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing can defog things, and yeah. I haven't seen a lot of it lately in the metagame, so I kind of forget. We got Gliscor, very solid bulky defensive mon, with Poison Heal and Stab Earthquake. It can be a pain to deal with. Yeah, Empoleon, very solid bulky water type. With that steel type, it's pretty even bulkier than usual bulky water types. I haven't really seen a lot of it, but I know it's really bulky, and I can't remember what it does. So we've got Espeon. I haven't really seen Espeon at all. Of course, Espeon kind of fell out of favor in the metagame once Baton Pass was banned, but. And then there's Alolan Sandslash. It does Alolan Sandslash things. I've never seen this at all in the metagame at all, so I just kind of forget this thing exists. Turtonator, Shell Smash Sweeper. Haven't seen it since Season 1 when Cole swept. I can't remember who he swept. I think it was in the playoffs. He swept someone with Turtonator. Probably one of my favorite Shell Smash Pokemon. Definitely overlooked, but it has its flaws. Mega Aerodactyl. What in the world? Why is Mega Aerodactyl a tier 3? Oh wait, no, that's tier 2. That's tier 2. That's tier 2. Oh, wait, I'm confusing myself. Whatever. This is a tier 2 Mega. It's very solid, fast. Unfortunately, it's eaten alive by priority moves. I know this all too well from running it Season 1. But very solid, very fast, and it hits pretty hard. Breloom. Put things to sleep, and you can Mach Punch for priority, and it can set up Sword Stance, and I got swept by one of these one time by Cole as well. Man, Cole has a whole history of sweeping people, doesn't he? You got Scolipede, you can set up Speed Boost. Baton Pass is allowed only for Speed Boosts, like nothing else, only Speed. You can't pass any other stat. So it's going to be solid, it's going to bring some nice stuff to probably Krookodile. Krookodile, I had this last season. It barely did anything for me, but that's mainly because I also had Mudsdale for some reason. I like Krookodile more than Mudsdale, but Mudsdale is just way more bulky and way more useful to me. But Krookodile is pretty good. You can run like Scarf on it with like Pursuit and stuff. You can switch into like something that's weak to it, and then you can just Pursuit it out. Like you can switch into like a Psychic type, and then you can Pursuit, and they'll try to switch out, and there we go. There's a dead Psychic type on your rooftop, or wherever you did the battle. Probably don't do your battle on a rooftop. There's Comfey. I've encountered this too many times on NU, and it's been a big pain. It can act with its ability to out-prioritize other Pokemon. Its healing moves get, one of its abilities allow its healing moves to get priority, and I really hate it. I honestly really hate it. Onto the Colorado Reggie Rockies. They have Deoxys Defense, Starmie, Chandelure, Doublade, Rhydon, Luxray, Venusaur, Weavile, Togekiss, Noivern, Cryogonal. Of course, Deoxys Defense, bulky. I haven't really seen it used even in Ubers, which I guess is why we unbanned it. Starmie. Surprisingly fast, can provide a lot of offensive depth, hit things reasonably hard, and very solid for a tier 2. Chandelure, very solid special attacker. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite fire types, and maybe one of my favorite ghost types as well. Gets a pretty sizable move pool, surprisingly. It gets stuff like Energy Ball, it's like Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, and of course, like its fire type moves like Fire Blast. Alright, on the Doublade. Run like, it's very bulky with Eviolite, obviously. Very solid. You even on like a Sword Stance set if you really want, just spam Shadow Sneak. I don't know why you do that when you could use its bulk. Another Eviolite mon in Rhydon. Of course, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is. I prefer this over Rhyperior purely just because I remember Rhydon before I remember Rhyperior. Surprisingly. But it does very similar things to Rhyperior, besides being a bit bulkier due to the fact it gets Eviolite. There's Luxray. I haven't. Just surprising with how great Luxray's design is. I've never seen it in competitive play, so I don't know how to play it. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like an attacker, or like a physical attacker, but I've never seen it in competitive play, so I don't know. Got Mega Venusaur, has some bulk there with thick fat to weaken the fire and ice type moves, which means it's only really its only weaknesses are psychic and flying. Very solid Mega. Hits reasonably hard, and that's all I have to say about it. There's Weavile, very fast, very frail. You can run like Focus Sash with it. Gets like Pursuit, so you can like Pursuit Trap things. There's Togekiss. It's really bulky. Another Serene Grace Pokemon. I really hate it because of Serene Grace. If it didn't have Serene Grace, I'd probably like it a bit more. Noivern. I've never really seen Noivern that much. I think I might have used an NU at some point. I just remember just slapping a specs on it and just screaming at everything just like Explode. But Explode gets stabbed for Boom Burst. Noivern doesn't. So there's Cryogonal. I guess you could like spin stuff away. I haven't really seen a lot of Cryogonal really, which is sad because I kind of actually like Cryogonal. And then the last but certainly not least, probably, is Pensacola Reggie Ice Flyers. Probably the most stacked team, but yet it could somehow go horribly wrong. No offense. So we got Lando T, Milotic, Alolan Ninetales, Meanshao, Xatu, Rotom, Mega Charizard X, Tangrowth, Tyranitar, Escavalier, and Haunter. Of course, Lando T, Mega Charizard X. That's a horrifying combo to anyone facing it. This is Mega Charizard X being a very powerful physical attacker. You could actually run special attacks on it too. That's something I had to learn the hard way. Rest in peace, Quagsire. You were killed by an HP Grass. Lando T, of course, you run the trademark Scarf set. You'd set up rocks, U-turn out if you don't like it. Defog rocks, Stab Earthquake, solid. Milotic, probably one of the best bulky water types, especially with Marvel Scale. You do not want to get this thing's Marvel Scale up. Trust me, it'll ruin your day. I learned this in the playoffs. There's Alolan Ninetales. You'd set up Aurora Veil with Hail and all that. Very solid for that utility. There's Meanshao, you can just fake out, and it's surprisingly fast and can hit things reasonably well. Xatu, you could switch it to someone setting up hazards, and you can bounce them right back. and then you can defog them. Rotom, you can also defog them. Volt switch out if you don't like the situation. You know, I've never really seen regular Rotom actually run that much. Tangrowth, very, very solid defensive grass type. Of course, you can run like Stealth Rocks. I'm pretty sure it gets Stealth Rocks. Who knows? You can run like Earthquake on it. I've seen it like HP Fire, Giga Drain. You know, pretty solid, very bulky, and of course with Regenerate, you can switch out to heal out some damage. You got T-Tar, you Pursuit Trap things. You can hit things pretty hard with Earthquake, even though it's not stab. Hit things with Rock pretty hard. I like it. I kind of like it more than regular or Mega T-Tar. That's because I can run items on it. I'm not forced to Mega. Well, not really forced to Mega. You don't have to Mega, but with Mega T-Tar, you have to use the Mega Stone. But with regular Tyranitar, or really any regular Pokemon except for Mega Rayquaza, which is banned, you run like any item. You run like items on here, like on the Choice Band on here or something like that. All pretty solid. Escavalier, very slow, but trust me, I've used this in the lower tiers before. It can hit like a truck. You could slap a band on this and then start spamming moves, and it could kill things. That's how strong it is. And then there's Haunter. I've seen this used quite a bit in PU. It's surprisingly solid in the air, but who knows if it will pan out. You could run like it's surprisingly fast. I don't know how it's that fast, and it's surprisingly hard. I don't know how it hits that hard. So, yeah, that's the entirety of the draft. We'll see how this season turns out, and thank you all for watching, and I hope you stay tuned and see what happens this league. It's gonna be a spectacular season, I can assure you.